Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of JQLM Radio's Community Corner with your girl, Lady J, right here on JQLM Radio, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. And of course, we have another amazing guest that is doing good in their community. But before I introduce them, we must get those formalities out of the way. So, if this is your first time tuning in to the show or to JQLM Radio and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in, this is what you would share.
If you'd like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in to JQLM Radio, this is what you would share. You can tune in live by downloading the JQLM Radio app on your Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live via Alexa, the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms of which you can find on our website, where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com/JQLM radio, or just visit egoentertainmentnet.com and click the button right there on the home page. You can also connect with us via our website or social media at JQLM Radio. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Additionally, you can email us at jqlmradio@gmail.com. Find us under our parent company, Ego Entertainment Network, on social media at EGOENTNET. That's Ego Ent Net. You can also follow us on LinkedIn at Ego Entertainment Network. And last but not least, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Ego TV Network.
All right. Now that the formalities are out of the way, let's introduce our guest for today. Our guest is none other than Sean Young. He is a mental health advocate and speaker. Let's welcome him to the show. Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Lady J?
I'm well, can't complain. Wouldn't do us no good, no way.
Right, right. I always go to the store and ask people how they're doing, and they say that, and I always say, it's not always, the people won't even care sometimes, and that's
Mhm.
the sad reality in this world is that a lot of people sometimes don't care what other people are going through.
Absolutely. So, before we get into it, can you tell everybody, where you're from and what you like to do in your spare time and what you do?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So my name is Sean Young. I am a man of many hats, aside from the Santa hat. I am a person in long-term recovery. So I have been sober for almost 5 years. At the end of this month, it'll be 5 years. I'm so excited. Never thought I'd make it this long. I'm also a peer support specialist. I'm a shamanic healer. But most importantly, I'm a person that survived a suicide attempt. So for me, that's really, really big, and that's part of why we're here. What I like to do, I'm a podcaster. I do podcasting. I really enjoy connecting with people. Connecting with people since the pandemic, podcasting has like skyrocketed, right? And that's our way to connect with people. But I like connecting with people on a more personal level. I do some healing sessions with some people in person, and so that is great. In my community, I'm a healer. I'm a person that people come to with some of their issues, and I don't try and solve them because we all have the answers to our issues
Right.
buried way back here. So I help people integrate into that phase in their life where they start to receive help and work on themselves so they can be a better version of themselves every single day.
Awesome. So, can you tell us, so they're going to hear more of your story on the Impossible show, but, as someone who has, gone through a lot of life's experiences that caused you to go to a dark place, suicidal ideation and overcoming that, can you tell us how did you take that life experience and create the platform that you have now to serve others in the community? What does that look like?
Yeah. So I looked at my life at that period of time, and I realized some of the areas that my life was lacking in spiritualism and physical activity and just overall good mental health as well as physical health. And I started incorporating that. So now, because of some of my disabilities, I can't do all the things I used to do like when I was in my 20s. So I go on my walks every day. I make sure I'm doing yoga every day. I meditate. I take my special time for myself. Self care is huge for me, but
Mhm.
um, also looking at that time in my life and realizing that like that was a version of me that wasn't great, right?
Mhm.
Like I wasn't just I I wasn't just lacking in those areas. I was also an alcoholic, right? So because of being sober, it's given me tools to be able to work past that and work through that. And I just I take every day and I show myself gratitude and I practice gratitude, right? Because I feel like the most important thing in my journey is being grateful for what I have and
Mhm.
grateful for the people around me and grateful for the air that I get to breathe every single day. Because if I was successful, I would have none of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so the platform that you created, can you tell us about that and how do you use that to help other people?
Yes. So the platform I created is called Recover Out Loud, and essentially what it is it's a space where people can come and share their story, much like your platform, and come and share their story about recovery from substance abuse or mental health disorders, and it kind of gives people an understanding that they're not alone and that they're not the only ones going through it. Because when I don't know about you, Lady J, but I know when I was going through it, I looked at myself and I said, I'm the only person in the planet that is going through this or has gone through
Mhm.
this, right? So we create these platforms to give people that understanding that they're not alone and that
Mhm.
feeling of not being alone and that feeling of inspiring hope in other people gives me such joy because I was in a place where I felt alone and I didn't have these at my disposal. So being
Mhm.
able to give back something that I didn't have is much it creates a lot of joy in me. And I also create this space so that if there are communities of people that need to be reached, there are tons of resources out there for for people like us, but we just don't know how to access them. So if you have somebody that has the ability, has the means to access those, we can start helping those communities to their benefit.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell us, what does your ideal client or customer look like, and how would they reach out to you in order to be a part of your platform or program?
Absolutely. So I don't just accept anybody and everybody. That was my problem when I first started. I just accepted anybody and everybody, and it started to wear me down
Mhm.
because just some people's energy is not really that great. So
Mhm.
first and foremost, my thing is you have to have a willingness to change. If you
Mhm.
don't have the willingness to change, then we are beating around a bush. We're just going to continue going in this circle until either I say I can't do it anymore or until that my client decides that they can't do it anymore. And
Mhm.
so the willingness to change, you know, um, that to me says that that person is they want it more than anything. And I would go for the next one being um, either in active recovery or in or looking to get into some form of recovery
Mhm.
because substance abuse side of things, we look at dual diagnosis, right? So we look
Mhm.
at not just the substance, but we also look at the mental health disorder. So starting to get like shift your life in that way or getting on that path is very beneficial. And it's not that I don't want to engage with somebody that's still in active use, but um, the person that's still in active use doesn't have that cognizant that understanding
Mhm.
that they're ready to change and that their life
Right.
has gotten so messed up. Um, because I had to get to that point in my life where I was willingness to change, where I had the willingness. And finally, I would have to say that that person has to have the gifts of desperation, and I call it the gift of desperation because at that point you are so willing to change that you're going to try things that are outside
Mm-hmm.
of your comfort zone, right? So I
Right.
know when I got into my recovery program, I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to leave my home. I had to get out of my environment in order to succeed and prosper. And even in my life, like after that, after I'd gotten 2 and 3 years into recovery, I had to displace myself again in order
Mm-hmm.
to and get out of my comfort zone in order to prosper. And so the gift of desperation for me is a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
And where you can find me anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I am on TikTok under Sober Shaman Sean. I am under Facebook Sean Young. I have Recover Out Loud. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I don't do X or Twitter or Blue Skies or any of those other ones because those are nasty places. I try and stay away from that. And finally, you can find my new LLC, Pop Up Healing, on Facebook. I just got approved like 2 weeks ago, so I am so happy to start this venture.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. And you can
Thank you.
also find all of his links on Linktree forward
Yes,
slash
ma'am.
sitting with Sean. So, well, thank you for all the work that you do, in the community and being bold enough and courageous enough to utilize your own life experiences to inspire, encourage, empower, and educate others because we need more people doing that, more people doing it, at a level of transparency and vulnerability that we just don't see, but that is so well needed. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Also, real quick, we have about 2 minutes left in the show. Can you take about 30 seconds and speak to someone who may be struggling with admitting that they have an issue or feel ashamed about reaching out to get help? What would you say to that person?
I would start off by saying, what do you have to lose? You've already lost enough. How much more are you willing to lose? And then I would say that there's help out there. There's people that can connect you to the resources that you need, and that there are people that care and that love you, and there's people that love you that don't even know who you are, and
Mhm.
there's people like myself and Lady J that just want the best for you, want you to be a better version of yourself every single day. And so reach out for that help. It's okay to admit that you're not perfect, and it's okay to admit that you need help, and that is where your strength lies, is when you admit that you have a problem and you need help.
Awesome. Well, again, Sean, thank you so much for being our guest today. Thank you for sharing your work and your experience, and for opening, your platform to those who need help. And just to be clear, they don't need to be local, right? They can join from
No,
anywhere.
no, I do virtual as well.
All right. So, listen, guys, we are down to the end of our show, JQLM Radio's Community Corner. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope that something was said here today that will help you in your journey in life and provide some type of resources that you may have needed that you can reach out to. All right. So, again, this has been another episode of JQLM Radio's Community Corner with your girl, Lady J, right here on JQLM Radio, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. And we're out.